Hello everyone, it's Michael, and today we are going to be doing tips and tricks for Stocktake. Just a few hints and few things that would make your Stocktake and your Stocktake life easier. Okay, so we're talking about tips and tricks in Stocktake with Smart Suite Library. Now, if you're not running the current version, which should look a lot like this, please make sure you talk to us, because all our upgrades are free. They have always been free for the last 35 years, and that's not going to change now or well into the future. Now, if you're going to do a Stocktake, tip number one: what happens when something goes wrong in the Stocktake, or what happens you accidentally went and did something that actually causes a whole bunch of data to be changed, or you started the Stocktake and you changed your mind. So tip number one addresses what if it goes wrong. And basically I'd strongly recommend that you go and ask the team at Functional Solutions to make sure that they do a backup and hold the backup for at least a couple of months, because you're going to do a Stocktake and you could potentially be changing a large volume of data. So the way you do it is you come here, you go down to the mailbox, okay, and in the mailbox you're going to raise a ticket. And so you go support tickets and create a ticket, and the subject will be urgently, please do a backup and hold that backup for me for 2 months. And the message will be, I'm going to be doing a Stocktake, and just in case anything goes wrong, I'd like the opportunity to go back to a copy of the data before the Stocktake was done. Okay, so that's very important. Okay, and of course tell us to hold it for 2 months, because after the 2 months or 3 months or 5 months, however long you would like, that you think you're going to be involved in the Stocktake, ask us to hold that and we will hold it for you. Okay, so if we need to restore it, we can also automatically restore it for you. Okay, then tip number 2 is, why not use an iPad or an Android pad to do the Stocktake? Okay, so instead of putting the computer with a long extension lead and a long network cable attached to the computer, which is on a trolley, or a little bit better, putting a laptop on the trolley and having connected to the Wi-Fi, and you can do a Stocktake that way as well, so that when you're in the Stocktake and you're zapping in all the barcodes on the system. So basically, let me just show you. So we're going to go into Stocktake. I'm on a laptop. So you come in here, you choose the Stocktake that you're going to do, and then go, I want to enter barcodes. So you click on that, and you have a barcode reader connected to your laptop, and as you barcode the items off the shelf, you would put them in here. That's another way of doing a Stocktake on a laptop. Okay, however, why don't you be creative and adventurous? Why don't you get an iPad or an Android pad? Okay, so it could be iPad or Android, we don't care, or any other pad you've got that connects to the internet. And then you'll put in your URL of your library system. It will ask you to log in like normal, and you will get most probably the school's default OPAC coming up. If you've got a landing page, it'll bring up the landing page. But regardless of what page it lands on when you log in, make sure that you've logged in on your iPad. I'm going to talk iPad, okay, but that means any device, okay, without a keyboard. So you just bring it up there, you log in, you'll come down here, you'll go to Stocktake, okay, and then choose the Stocktake that you're going to be running, and off you go. You can then go and click on here and zap in all your barcodes, even though you're on an iPad. So you don't even need a trolley. just walk around, and that's how you would do it. Okay, so that's tip number 2. Do it on an iPad. It's faster, it's more convenient, and obviously okay, that more than one Stocktakes can be running at the same time. So you might decide to, in your Stocktake, do the fiction collection. So you might have a fiction collection from A to B, and you might have Marianne doing from C to G. Then you had Joshua doing from H to M, and you yourself might do it from, so you could have many Stocktakes running on all these different iPads or Android pads, and all being done very, very quickly and conveniently. Now the question that's immediately going to arise is, if you're going to do the Stocktake on an iPad or an Android pad, and you think, oh, can this thing run on an Android pad or an iPad? Straight answer is yes. Not just for Stocktake, but for absolutely any of the functions on Smart Library. Okay, you do not need a laptop or a PC. I've been to a school where they had a long desk in the primary school, a long one. It must have been about 4 meters. And on that desk, they had 6 iPads stuck to it. And I said to them, oh, you're running an OPAC inquiry desk here. And they said, well, it's better than that, because when the students come in, we log in the first one as monitor 1, second one as monitor 2, third one as monitor 3, as fourth one as monitor 4. We log them in like that, and it brings up the monitor circulation. So they can go and all do their own circulation in the primary school. So what I'm trying to say is, if you want to run Smart Suite on a smart device, like an iPad or an Android pad, you can, okay? And you can run all the functionality, but for the purpose of this YouTube Live, we're talking about Stocktake, and the Stocktake runs beautifully on it, okay? The only requirement for that iPad or Android pad is it's connected to the internet. So if you can bring up Google and do a search on Google, then you just put in your normal library URL in there, and it will come up, and it will look exactly the same as your desktop or circulation desk or the backroom machine. Okay. Now, the third tip for Stocktake is, I'm going to take you shopping, and I'm going to take you to my best website, and that is eBay. Okay, so bring up ebay.com.au, and the reason why we're here is because if you're going to do Stocktake on iPad or Android pad, or if you're going to use it for circulation or anything else, you need a barcode reader. And if you buy a barcode reader from your library supplier, chances are it's going to cost you anywhere between $700 and $1,500 for a good barcode reader that will work with the iPad. That's important. If it works with an iPad, it'll work with an Android pad, and it'll work with anything that has a Bluetooth connection, including your laptop. Now, it might not work on your PC simply because your PC might not have a Bluetooth connection. But I'm going to change all of that for you. So, in your eBay, in the search area here, type in iPad. iPad Bluetooth barcode reader. That's what you need to type in there. Okay, very important. You can leave the word iPad out, but my recommendation is put that in, because if it works with an iPad, it'll work with any other Bluetooth device. And just do a search. And guess what? Your Bluetooth barcode reader that'll work with an iPad is $68. Okay? Don't buy this one. It defeats the whole purpose of having all these other cables or whatever to it. But there's another one, $52. There's another one, $57. There's another one, $60. So if you want to start having multiple circulation desks and just have iPads in there, yep, it works. Okay. However, all of these will work. All of these will work. Okay, but keep scrolling, keep scrolling, keep scrolling. Okay, and all of these will work, and there's all your different prices. Okay, now I'm going to do another search, and I'm going to remove the word iPad because it's restricting the search. So Bluetooth barcode reader, that's it. You'll get the same one, except let's have a look at this one for $64. What's the difference between this barcode reader and this barcode reader? Something that's very important for you to look at, and please look at it. Let's go ahead and expand that picture. Okay, what's so important about this one is it's got this little thing there. Okay, and that's called a Bluetooth dongle. What it means is that this barcode reader will work with your iPad, it'll work with your laptop that has Bluetooth, it will work with your mobile phone because it has Bluetooth, it'll work with your Android device because it has Bluetooth. However, it will now also work with your PC that does not have Bluetooth, because you can plug that into the USB port on any PC, and all of a sudden this thing will work with any PC as well. Okay, and that's what's fantastic about this particular one, and you're not paying a premium for it. Okay, $57 as opposed to $64 for that one. Like, that one doesn't have a YouTube an USB chip in it, so keep looking, and there's a whole host of them on here. But if you're going to buy it, buy the one that has that. Okay, that's $38, and look, it's got a USB chip. Okay, so there it is, and there's the USB device, and that's $38. Now, whatever you do, if you think, oh, at $38 I can go and buy 10 of them, don't. I'd strongly recommend you only buy one. It'll get to you in absolutely no time, and then just test it. And if it works okay for you and you're happy with it, then by all means go and buy another 10. Okay, at $38, neither here nor there, and you won't break your budget, and you can go ahead and start using it on your mobile phone. You can use it on your iPad, Android pad, whatever device. There's another one. I like these particular ones simply because it's the size of a cigarette packet. You just put in your back pocket, put in your shirt pocket, okay, put in your front pocket, put in your handbag, tiny little thing, and there's the USB stick, and it'll work with PCs, laptops, devices, and mobile phones, because you've got that to work with all the Bluetooth devices, and devices that don't have a Bluetooth, like an old laptop or a PC. You just stick that in there, and all of a sudden you're Bluetooth enabled, and there you go. Okay, there's another one. You can get them from $39 to $60. There's another one. So if you had 3 staff members and they were all using iPads, then that's what you do. You get a Bluetooth barcode reader. So that's tip number 3. Tip number 4. Let's get out of here and go back into my Stocktake. Okay, now whatever you do, okay, let's say you want to do a fiction Stocktake. Have a look at mine. I've got all these Stocktakes. You can run more than one Stocktake at a time. Okay, so let's do an example of fiction. Now, your fiction might comprise 60% of your collection, and you might have a couple of staff members or even a student that is happy to help you zap in barcodes. Okay, you're going to be very generous and very adventurous if you're going to allow students to do it, but you can. So what you can do is, instead of doing one fiction Stocktake, why don't you do this? Okay, so let me bring up what I'm recommending in Word so that you can see what I mean. So let's say user 1 is going to do from A to C. User 2 is going to do from D to M. User 3 is going to do it from N to Z. So there you got 3 users. So why not create 3 stock takes and call it fiction A to C, fiction D to M, and fiction N to Z? And what your screen will look like is like this. Okay, so you'll have them all there. So break it up into small stock takes. You might even consider creating a stock take called fiction testing, and then just do just A in fiction and test it, and then don't finish it off when you think you are okay, you know how to zap in, you know how to create, you know how to analyze and all that sort of stuff, then just delete it. So what I'm trying to say is that unlike other systems, you do not have to do a stock take of the entire collection all at once. The problem with that is if you do it and you're 80% of the way through and you decided, oh my goodness, no, I want to do this. Well, you've just gone and spent 80% of your time working on 80% of your collection. Whereas if you went and only did a small part of the collection for a test, you don't even have to go all the way through. You can just experiment, okay? And then at the end of it, just delete it. So when you go in here and you've done a test of the stock take, all you need to do is you can say, non-fiction, that was a test, or Mike's steak, that was a test. I don't want that anymore. So you can go ahead and you can go delete. Are you sure? And I go, yes. So Mike's steak is now gone. So it is as simple as that. So don't try. There are some library staff that go below that. I'm going to just zap in everything in the collection. So it's not called a fiction stock take. It's called a whole of library stock take. And they do fiction, they do non-fiction, they do teacher's reference, they do back room, they do front room. And then when they have an issue or want to do some analysis and they want to break it down, it makes it very hard. So recommendation number 4 is small stock takes. Okay. All right. Recommendation or tips and tricks number 5 is, unlike all our competitors with Stocktake, okay, people hate doing a Stocktake simply because it's time consuming. I've got to lock the whole library. I've got to then train staff, and I've got to go and remember how to do Stocktake, all this sort of stuff. So, and then you got to fix all the data. So you might take 3 weeks to zap everything in, and then you take another 3 weeks analyzing the information and deciding what to do with the information and so forth and so on. My recommendation is don't fall for that, okay? In Smart Suite Stocktake, the reason why we call it Smart Suite, because we think and believe that everything we do is very smart. Why don't you, if you come across problems in the Stocktake and the system's going to give you problems in the Stocktake, why don't you fix it on the fly? So let me have a look at this particular Stocktake. Okay, so if you have a look at the Stocktake, the location is quick read shelf and learning support. And as soon as you go and do your say you want to do a Stocktake, what's going to happen is this: it's going to show you all the information of the books that you need to Stocktake, and you might want to quickly look at it. Okay, now you can filter this. You can filter it into items to be counted. Okay, and I'll just go refresh, and there they are. It's alphabetical. Or you can say, no, I want to do it by barcode or by call number or by location, by media type. So you can sort it a different way. And when you go refresh, there it is. Okay, and you can go page 2, and that'll give you page 2, or go back, and that's page 1. Okay, now we're looking at Batman Undercover, and we know it's the quick read shelf and it's the learning. So it's telling you here what areas these books have come from. Okay, and you look at that and you say black anchor, What's it doing in the quick read shelf? Or what's it doing in this area? Black anchor does not belong here. It shouldn't. So, you know, this is a way of just quickly looking at, yeah, that's pretty much it. But if you're looking at the material, and you don't have to look at it right from the start, you might go and just do the stock take anyway. And if there's only 7 items left, or if there's 14 items left, or this particular stock take had 5,000 items in it, and you've now got 50 items left, you can look at what's left. And you can go, oh, I haven't stock taken black anchor. And you look at it and you say, let me have a look at it. So you can go, are the locations quick read shelf? You go, no, it's not. It doesn't belong there. It belongs somewhere else. So click on the title, okay, and it will bring up the catalog record. Just review it, go into the copy area, and in the copy area it says it's a quick read shelf, and you go, no, 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 no. It does not belong in the quick read shelf. It actually belongs in the art department. So flag it for the art department, save it, okay, and exit out of here. So remember black anchor? Now, if to be counted, if I just refresh the same page, remember black anchor, it's the 3rd one down there. So if I refresh that, guess what? It's removed from your stock take automatically because it didn't belong there. So you do not have to wait till the end of the stock take. You can count all your items if you want, or you can just quickly go through it. Anything that you have a suspicion of, click on it, have a look at the catalog record, and remember what area you're stock taking, and then just fix it. So if the location's wrong, the sub-location's wrong, the copy status is not available, it's not, and copy status is in repair, but you go, no, it's not in repair, it's not for loan. So if you change the copy status for not for loan and then you refresh it, you will get the material up here. Okay, so that's what you do by fixing the systems on the fly based on what you are supposed to count. So that's tip number 5. Okay, now tip number 6 is almost the same. Tip number 6 is, what if I go into the stock take, okay, and I enter an item in here? So let's have a look. So remember that noise that came up there, okay? That noise again, okay? Not only that, look at the screen. You should always get used to looking at the screen. Don't rely on the ting ting, because the beeper on your barcode reader will always give you a ping. Whether it's right or wrong, it'll always give you a ping unless you turn the beeper on the barcode reader off. Okay, but what this is saying is that the reason why it's red, it's saying that this, if it was blue, then it says that's okay, it's you've counted it. But this is saying you have counted it, except it does not belong in this stock take. And you go, doesn't it? Oh, the location is general library. And you go, oh, well, this barcode 88 is not in the general library. It should really be in the quick read shelf. So you're there with the book, you're there with the area. Why not just go ahead and click on the title of the book, okay, and bring up the copy information and fix it. So it's not in the general library, it's actually in the quick read shelf. So we'll just go down to quick read shelf, and you'll go save, and you fixed it. You don't have to wait for the end of the stock take. Okay, so that's tip number 6. Tip number 6 was fixing data on the fly for items that you zap in on the barcode and it warns you in red that this does not belong in the stock take. So you just fix it. Now, if I go, let me exit out of here and go back to my stock take, okay, and let's come in here, stock take, okay, and go back into my original stock take. What you'll see is that the data will be changing as you're doing stock take. So we've shown you how to fix records in what you are supposed to stock take, and tip number 6 is how to fix items that you've zapped in that don't belong in this particular stock take. Okay, so that's how you will be able to do it. So if I go and say I want to have a look at all counted items, okay, and refresh that page, and that will be all my counted items on here, just them. Okay. Okay. So the last thing is just a reiteration of tip number 5 and tip number 6, and that is fix issues while they are happening. Don't wait till the end of the stock take. Okay. And while you've got the stock take there, remember, you can go and say, I want to have a look at all the manually counted items. And it'll say, that was manually counted. I want to have a look at the system counted. Now, what the system counted is, this is where you've gone along and had circulation happen on an item while the stock take was going. So it'll just show you these items were circulated in or circulated out or added new or whatever, and then it'll just include them as part of the stock take. Okay. So this is not a session on how to do a stock take. It is just some tips and tricks that you could use to build a stock take. And remember, no matter how you do the stock take, no matter what you do in the stock take doesn't actually delete any items. Okay, so that's very important to know. So what on earth does a stock take do? All the stock take does, so let's just bring up a record. Okay, in the stock take, what the stock take does, okay, let's go to this one, cat in the hat. When I click on the edit button, the stock take, when you finish the stock take, what it does, it goes into the copy area, and the copy status which is available, what it will do is it'll change that status. What will it change it to? That's up to you. So if you finish the stock take, you can say, I finished the stock take, I now want to flag them all as lost. So you can come down here and you can flag them as lost. Not a good idea, because if you do that, then you've lost the ability to distinguish between what was lost in normal circulation and cataloging by the library staff as opposed to what was lost in Stocktake. So what we do is we give you 4 custom areas. We call them custom 1, custom 2, custom 3, custom 4, and you can obviously change that. That's part of our Stocktake training. Change that status to mark fiction losses 2020. That's what you would do. So then when you do a stock take and the item was available, you haven't been able to find it, what it will do is, all it'll do is change it to lost in stock take, okay, 2020, if that's what it is. And that's it. That's all it does. Now the reason why it does that is because you can then go and do a global delete. You can run a whole bunch of reports before you do it. You can just go to the cataloging reports module, and you don't even have to go to Stocktake reports. You can go to the catalog reports module and do a report of everything, and that has a copy status of lost in 2016. Or you can say report everything that was lost in 2016 in the main library, in the back room, in the arts department. So you can break it all down. So you do all these analysis, and then you can go and do a global delete and say, I want to delete anything that was lost in Stocktake 2016. Anything that has that status, delete it. So that's how you would do it. Okay, so the Stocktake itself doesn't delete anything. All it does is changes a few flags and a few statuses, all on the copy status area. Okay, thank you very much for being part of the tips and tricks of Stocktake Smart Suite.